from Deltona. Go ahead, Tom.
Hello, Larry. How are you?
We're doing great, Tom. How you doing?
I'm good. I got a question. My wife's got a 2009 G 2.4, and we've been having problems with the intake manifold and the runner, and they say we have to only put Mopar parts on it. And they did a smoke test on it, and it's not leaking.
What is it? Just setting a code for the intake runner?
It's sending, yes.
Okay. Tom, those are available in the aftermarket. We have.
Yeah, we had them put on, and it's still. I mean, you start this thing up, and it goes up to 2,500 RPM immediately. Like that thing's open, and I mean, I know how it works. It's supposed to, when you go slower, you get less air, so fuel air mixture, and when you go higher, it opens more, so you get more fuel air mixture.
Yeah, well, what it does is it kind of curves the intake air. It creates more of a vortex, is what it does. And, you know, so you've had an aftermarket one put on there, and you're still having high idle problems when you start it up?
Correct.
Well, Tom, I don't want to, I don't think that's what's causing that problem. Even if those intake runners,
I agree with you. I don't either.
Yeah, even if those intake runners were not operable at all, they really wouldn't make any difference at low RPM. You know, the intake runners, what they do is they're pretty much open at an idle, and when you start accelerating, see what they'll do is they'll close a little bit. And then what it does is it creates a vortex, so that incoming air is actually pulled in harder into the cylinders.
Got it.
Yeah, it's see, they're using these lower compression motors in those things so that you could run crappy gas in them. And what happens is, you know, if your compression's a little lower, the vacuum on the suction stroke when the piston comes down is only going to pull so hard. And depending on the length of the intake, they put those runners in there, those little flaps, in order to create a vortex, so it pulls a little bit harder, which is really kind of cool considering if they'd used a higher compression piston, they wouldn't have to use those to start with. But what are we going to do? If you've got a higher...
So in your opinion, where should I go next?
Well, I would think there's more of a idle air control, you know, something on those lines. The idle speed control motor may have an issue or be sticking, or, you know, don't put it past something being a computer-related problem, you know. But
that's what I told my wife.
You know, I think that it's a control problem of some sort, and an intake's not going to fix that. You know, I don't mean to throw your mechanic under the bus here, but that's unless.
No, listen, I just retired. I was an aircraft mechanic for 41 years, so I understand how this stuff works.
You're right there with me. I mean, that. You know, those adjustable flaps in there is not going to cause you to have an uncontrollable high idle during startup. You know, it's not going to do it.
The new ones are all plastic.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They're made out of plastic. So that's not going to fix the problem. All right, we got that handled, and we don't have to worry about that issue. But now, going to have to figure out what's actually wrong with it. Are they code stored in the computer system now?
Yeah, and they won't go away.
Do you know what they are?
And I have my own reader, and it calls out for the runner valve.
Yeah. Have you cleared it?
And I don't think it's getting the proper signal from a computer or wherever it gets it from.
Well, what a person's going to need to do, Tom, is actually go and look at the data stream on this with a real live, honest-to-goodness, high-tech scan tool. You know, so that way you can take into account what the coolant temp sensor is, find out what the idle speed control motor's doing, and clear that code for that intake runner and see if it comes back. You know, that would be my route to start with anyway. But I think we're working on the wrong end of the engine here. You let us know if we can help you, buddy, and we appreciate your call, and I hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you so much, Tom. That opens up a line for you to talk to Larry today, 844-580-9326, 844-580-WDBO. We're going to take a quick break for news. We'll be right back with more of The Magic Mechanic on WDBO.